Hello everyone, and today we have a pretty decent job ahead of us. So recently I was putting air in my tires and I looked up and I noticed there was a huge rip in the upper ball joint. And after looking a little bit further, I noticed in the tie rod there was also some dry rotting. So I went ahead and looked down also at the connecting rod, and there's a little bit dry rotting there. And then when I looked at the top, yep, there was a huge tear in that one as well. And lastly, I went down to the lower ball joint, and yep, you can see the boot for that one is also dry rotted. So this looked like a good opportunity to go ahead and knock out all of these in one shot. So let's get started. And of course, for our very first step, we need to go ahead and remove the wheel. So let's go ahead and loosen up all these lug nuts. So you're going to need a 21mm socket and a breaker bar. And all we want to do is just loosen these up. We don't want to take them off yet. So there's number 5 and number 6. And let me grab the camera, take it off the tripod, and we're going to shimmy our way under the truck. And we're going to go have to jack it up. So there's a spot right here that's ideal for go ahead and lifting. So we're going to get our service jack. Go ahead and lift it up. And we want to make sure there's enough height. Just get the wheel off the ground. Then we'll put our jack stand in place, because you always want to set it on a jack stand. You don't want to rely on the service jack itself. And grabbing that same 21mm socket, we can go and remove the lug nuts and the wheel. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and the cap came off. And there's number 6. We'll go ahead and lift up the wheel and go ahead and set this aside. Next, let's go ahead and take our service jack, and we're going to go ahead and lift up our control arm just a little bit. We want to level it out because it's going to make it easier to remove a majority of these parts. And that looks pretty good. And the first part we're going to start with is our upper ball joint. So let's grab some neo-nose pliers and remove the cotter pin. And some of these parts may fight you, like this one right here, because it's rusted on there really good. So it did require a little bit of extra force. And this part came off fairly easy, and we'll go ahead and toss that pin. We'll put a new one on later. Now let's grab our 22mm socket and a breaker bar and loosen up this nut. And that wasn't too bad. And now it seems loose enough so we can take the rest off with our ratchet. And after 2,000 turns later, it looks like, yep, looks like we're able to remove the nut. And now here comes the fun part. So I got a ball joint separator, and we're going to separate the ball joint from the knuckle. I'm going to try to go ahead and finesse it in there. Then I'll grab a 24mm socket, and we're going to go ahead and separate this. Now this is the part I do recommend you leave the nut on that we took off. I'm going to show you why. Look at that. Not exactly an ideal scenario, so for safety reasons, leave the nut on there and then take it off once it's separated. So now that the knuckle's just hanging, we need to go ahead and support it. So I'm going to take these hangers, I use them for brake calipers, and I'm going to go ahead and just put it aside and make sure it's supported. You can also use bungee cord or elastic cords, whatever you have. So with it supported now out of the way, we can bring the camera in and focus on the upper ball joint. And we need to start with this snap ring right here. It's rusted on there pretty good, but it will come out. And typically you'll just need a flathead screwdriver, but I brought a hammer with me just to break it loose. And once it loosened up, I can get under it, and then it came right out. This was rusted so bad it didn't really take much. So now we get to have a little bit more fun. We get to pull out a new kit we purchased. This is a ball joint press kit, and it comes with several spacers and a C-clamp. And it can be used in various ways. So the spacers I'm going to put up top, around the top of the ball joint, and I'm going to go press the shaft of the ball joint through those spacers. It's not the ideal setup, but I don't really care what happens to this ball joint because I'm going to toss it anyway. And after putting a little bit of elbow grease in there, looks like we're able to loosen the ball joint from the upper control arm. Of course, we'll take all our tools off of this, take our spacers off, and the ball joint should lift right out. And there we go. And yep, it does look like it's in pretty rough shape. So I'm going to grab a paper towel, and I'm just clean up the area just to remove all the rust and grease that's left behind. And we'll go ahead and unbag our new ball joint. Let's take a look, see how it looks. And of course, it came with nice new hardware. And look at it, looks pretty good. I like the blue, it's a nice little color. And look at it, compare the old one. Yep, looks like to be the same height. Yep, looks like it matches up pretty well. So with everything looking pretty good, let's go ahead and start the installation process. So we'll put the ball joint right in the upper control arm, make sure it's nice and even as much as possible. Then we're going to grab that ball joint press kit, that same one we used earlier, and we're going to orientate it a little bit different. So I do apologize about the glare. It's kind of that winter sun. What can you do? So I'm going to put a spacer up top and a big spacer at the bottom, but this time I'm going to put the ring around the ball joint itself. I'm not actually pushing on the shaft. And then again, after turning it several times, and this does require quite a bit of force. I do authorize an impact driver for this one, but for now I'm going to use hand tools just to show it can be done. And after giving quite a bit of elbow grease, it looks like we pressed it all the way in, and it looks pretty even from here. So all we have to grab now is our snap ring pliers, and we're going to put a brand new snap ring in there. So I'll try to get it in place first. And using our pliers, we're going to go ahead and spread out the snap ring a little bit just to get it over that initial groove area. And once it's in place, it should feel nice and snug. Yep, just like that. And so far, so good. So let's bring the camera in just a little bit. I want to pull down the upper control arm just so we can have access to the grease fitting. Now, some ball joints have grease fittings, some don't. These are greasable, so these are going to have them with them. So we'll start by hand tightening them. Then we'll grab an 8mm wrench and go ahead and turn it until it's snug. You do not want to over tighten these will snap. So just make sure it's nice and snug. And yep, that feels good right there. And with the upper ball joint secure, we can install the steering knuckle. So I'll take it off the hanger, try to line everything up. You may have to raise the lower support arm, but if not, you're in good shape. But if you have to, just do it a little bit. And we have enough thread exposed, so we'll go ahead and take that castle nut and go ahead and tighten it on there. Start by finger tightening it, obviously. And then we'll go ahead and take our socket and socket wrench and go ahead and snug it up. And that feels pretty good. And of course, we always got to grab our torque wrench, and this one is set to 58 foot-pounds. So go ahead and place that right on the castle nut, and we're going to go ahead and turn it till it beeps. And probably one more. And there we go, 58 foot-pounds. Now there is a little catch to this. We'll go ahead and bring the camera in and see if I can get it focused in. Bear with me. Now on this castle nut and this particular bolt, you're going to see a hole in it. That's where the cotter pin goes. Now you want to go ahead and turn the castle nut until the slots line up with the hole. So right now I'm just tightening up just a little bit, just till it lines up. I'm not doing a lot, just want to make sure it lines up just a little bit. And that looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and throw our cotter pin in there. And let me go back the camera out. There we go. Now, of course, we'll take our needle nose pliers and go ahead and bend that cotter pin around the castle nut. So that's pretty good right there. Now I can do the rest of my hands. And that looks pretty good. That's not going anywhere. So 1 down, 3 to go. Let's go ahead and go to this pinch pull at the very bottom where the lower ball joint is. And we're going to take a 21mm socket and a breaker bar. And we're going to have to break this pinch bolt loose. And okay, that wasn't too bad. But some of them are rusted on there pretty good. And of course, we'll go ahead and get the nut right off the pinch bolt. And there we go. We're going to toss that one as well. Now, usually these pinch bolts come out, but this is rusted on there pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and hammer the bolt out. And just a little more. Let me grab my center punch real quick. And give that a few more love taps. Come on. And that actually looked like it's all the way out. Yep, came out pretty easy. And for this next step, usually you can use a pry bar or a pickle fork to separate the knuckle from the ball joint. Unfortunately, again, this truck is old and everything's rusted on there, so I'm going to have to use a little bit of excessive force. So I'm going to take that same ball joint separator I used earlier, and I'm going to take a small socket. This is probably like a 5/16 or something like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it right in the hole and see about pressing the ball joint from the knuckle. And after about 5,000 turns later, it's inching out. And almost there. There we go. Seems this truck is a big rust bucket. So I'm going to move the camera over, and I'm going to move the knuckle all the way to the left. I just want to go ahead and set it aside so I can remove the lower ball joint. And just as an FYI, I did detach the speed sensor from its bracket up top just to provide a little extra slack. So now we'll go ahead and zoom in, and we're going to do the same thing as the upper ball joint. We'll start with the snap ring. And again, usually once you break it loose, it comes off. There we go. Hold my finger in place and then go ahead and pry it out. And don't want it to snap in my face. There we go. So far, so good. And of course, we have another fun step. We're going to use that same ball joint press kit. And we have our spacers here. So I have a big one right here for the bottom. And again, it's just to provide a little bit of space. And then I'm going to go ahead and press this ball joint downward. And then grab our socket and socket wrench and just start turning. And I'm just doing a little bit at a time because this requires a little bit of strength. And there we go. So that actually came out with extreme prejudice. And let's go ahead and pick up our tools and our seat clamp. Go ahead and set it aside. And the same thing as earlier. Take a paper towel. Just go ahead and remove all that grease and rust that was left behind. Pretty simple. And grab our box with our new ball joint. Compare them just like we did with the upper. Looks pretty good. And we'll go ahead and install the lower ball joint. So we'll get that in place, get it nice and snug. Grab the same press kit, but we're going to orientate a little bit different. Again, we want to use the spacers to put around the ring of the ball joint to press it up. I don't want to actually push on the shaft itself. And again, after 50,000 turns with a lot of oomph later. Come on. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do this little by little and check to see where it's at. So I'm going to take it off right now, look at it. Yeah, it looks like that groove is not really high enough yet, so we're going to go a little bit more. And it's taking time because I'm doing this all by hand. And that should look pretty good. Let's take everything off. Take all these spacers out, give it a little love tap. And there we go. And same thing as earlier, grab our brand new snap ring. Now, some have the little holes in it, so you can use the pliers. Others, you kind of have to press on. And I use needle nose pliers for this particular one. So that came on very easily. Take our knuckle, lift it up, and I'm just going to go ahead and get it in position. Let me go ahead and move the camera. And of course, we'll put our speed sensor back in position. We don't need all that extra slack. That feels pretty good. And for our next fun task, we need to install the lower ball joint into the steering knuckle. And I'm going to use the C-clamp for this one just because it's convenient. But I've also tried it with the service jack, and it will lift the knuckle into the ball joint. So just as an FYI. And doing a quick check, want to make sure we got the height completely where we want it. And it looks like, yep, looks like we got it pretty good. That's just a little grease in there, by the way. And it looks pretty good. So now let's install that pinch bolt. And just give it a little finesse with a hammer. Same thing, this thing's rusted out, and there's not much I can do about it. And we're going to take that lock washer. I'm not using thread locking compound because a majority of these came with lock washers, so I don't need to add that. And take our same 21mm socket and socket wrench and go ahead and snug it up. That felt pretty good. And of course, grab our torque wrench, set to 94 foot-pounds. And let's go ahead and torque it up. And that felt pretty good. So with the lower ball joint in place, let's do the last step for that one. Just install the grease fitting. Same thing as earlier, we're going to go ahead and start by finger tightening it. And that feels pretty snug, so let's grab our 10mm wrench and just go ahead and tighten it up just till it's nice and snug. You do not want to over-tightening it, same as the top one. And let's get the orientation facing outward. Yep, pretty good. Now let's move on to the tie rod. So this one's going to be a little easier. So again, same thing as earlier, we're going to go ahead and take off that cotter pin using our needle nose pliers. We're going to see a lot of repetitive work here. And again, this one's rusted on there, so I had to use a lot more oomph. And again, we'll toss that one. Now let's go ahead and loosen up the nut for the tie rod. So it's a 22mm socket wrench. And that loosened up pretty easily, surprisingly. And I'm going to leave the nut on there this time. This is why I'm showing you why. So we'll take that same separator tool and see if I can orientate it correctly. There we go, fits in there nice and snug. Grab our 24mm socket and socket wrench. And this should pop right off. And there we go. So by having that nut on there, it kept it from flying around, which came out very beautifully. Now let's loosen up the jam nut for that same tie rod. I used a 15/16, but I believe it's a 24mm wrench. Okay, so that is not coming off. So we're going to apply a little bit of heat. Now in another video I used a heat gun, which works just as well, but since I have a propane torch, that's what I'm using for this particular one. And after applying a little bit of heat, let's go ahead and try it one more time. Come on. And there we go. And I'm going to mark the nut location just so I can put it back in the same spot later. So give it a few more extra turns just to make sure it's nice and loose. Very nice. And now let's move on back to the nut. So I'm going to grab a pair of vice grips and go ahead and hold the shaft that goes to that tie rod because it is moving on me. And take that socket and socket wrench, go ahead and take that nut completely off. And there we go. I know this truck is one big rust bucket. And we'll go ahead and turn the tie rod counterclockwise, move the camera, and we'll take this right out. And this does have quite a few threads, so bear with me. And there we go. And for this particular area of the knuckle, it did have a lot of debris. So I'm going to grab a wire brush and go ahead and clean up as best as I can. Just to make sure it's nice and smooth and has a good bedding area. And yeah, it looks pretty good. And just as an FYI, some of these tie rods, some come with regular nuts, which this one did, and some come with castle nuts. Not really big difference in the process, but just in an FYI. And of course, we're going to compare the old with the new, same length, and there is a left and a right side, so be aware of that. And of course, we'll take our new one and go ahead and thread this right back on there. So again, 50,000 turns later, get it matched with that jam nut. There we go. And we'll go ahead and place our tie rod right in our knuckle. So this one seems to be a little bit easier, which I'm liking. And of course, we'll grab the nut that came with this new tie rod. I'm trying to use all new parts if possible. And we'll go ahead and snug it up. Grab our socket and socket wrench. And that feels pretty good right there. And of course, we'll go ahead and torque it down to 63 foot-pounds. And very nice. Now, since there's not a castle nut, all I have to do is install the cotter pin. But if you did have a castle nut, just make sure it lines up the slots. No big deal. And we'll go ahead and spread this apart. There's one side. And yeah, I'm just being a perfectionist at this point, but I just like to get it nice and good looking. And that looks pretty good, nice and sturdy. And I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the jam nut. I'm not going to go ahead and torque it to spec. I just want to make it snug because this car does need an alignment after all this work. And of course, we'll go ahead and install our grease fitting. Start by hand tightening it and then snug it up with our wrench. That feels pretty good. And now for our very last piece of the puzzle, we have our connecting rods. So we'll go ahead and remove our two connecting rod nuts, and it's a 17mm socket. Now these might be on there really good, so you might need a breaker bar. Alright, so this one. Alright, so there's one nut we're able to remove. Let's go ahead and get the next one. And I'm using a wrench on the inside because these did turn when I started actually putting the wrench on there. And almost there. This is probably the easiest part, that's why I saved it for last. So now let's go ahead and take out that connecting rod. Now there is a left and a right side, so be aware of that when you unbox it. So here's the one I'm using for the driver's side. And we'll take these protective covers off. I want to verify the orientation. So it looks like everything, yep, that looks pretty good right there. And let's install the grease fittings as well. I usually do after the fact, but since it's going to be hard to get to, I'm installing them now. And this one's going to require a 7mm wrench. So there's one, and we'll get the bottom one as well. Again, just want to make them snug. That feels pretty good. So we'll go ahead and put these in place. And again, if they don't line up properly, you can kind of raise and lower the control arm just to get it to where it's not binding. And just got to get it in place. And we'll go ahead and install the new nuts that came with it. And again, these are lock nuts, so no thread locking compound required. And we'll start by finger time, then we'll go ahead and snug them up with our socket wrench. And we'll get the bottom one here. Looks good. And of course, take our torque wrench, 67 foot-pounds. There's one. And there's two. And of course, we no longer need to support the lower control arm, so let's go ahead and remove our service jack. For our very last major step, we need to grease all these grease fittings we installed. These are greasable parts, and they have a little bit of grease on them, just not a full amount. So we'll take our grease gun, and we're going to go ahead and give it a couple pumps. Now, the upper and lower ball joints require a little bit more than the other ones. So you want to put a little bit in there, just enough to see the boot start expanding just a little bit. And we'll wipe off our excess grease. I'm going to add a brake bleeder cap. I bought a box of these, and I just want to cap it off just for sex appeal as well as kind of preserve the grease fitting. And of course, we get the lower ball joint. Couple pumps, clean it up. Cap it off. And the tie rod as well. Looks pretty good. And lastly, the connecting rod. And there we go. So now we can install the wheel and lug nuts. So go ahead and lift that in place. Hold up my foot. And go ahead and snug up all these lug nuts. I'm going to try to do a star pattern. So there's 4, 5, 6. And then we'll go ahead and lower the vehicle. Let's take our surge jack, lift it up just a little bit. Remove our jack stand, and then go and lower it down as gently as we can. And then lastly, we'll go ahead and torque all these lug nuts in a star pattern using 98 foot-pounds. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And once we completed both sides, went to a local shop to do a wheel alignment, because after you do this type of suspension work, it is required. And when we did a before and after, you can see right here, we had a little bit of out of spec, not enough to cause major damage, but the toe was a little bit off. And overall, I'm very happy with how this repair turned out. We saved quite a bit of money and got it done within a day. Well, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe.